Cletus McFarland just pulled double duty at Rockingham, and while the haters are lining up to trash his results, a NASCAR Hall of Famer just said something that shut a whole lot of people up. This past Saturday, Cletus McFarland, the YouTube guy with over 4.5 million subscribers, showed up to Rockingham Speedway and did something pretty wild. He raced 2 NASCAR races in one day. First, the ARCA race in the morning, then the big O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race in the afternoon, his first time ever racing at that level. And he did it all driving for Richard Childress Racing, one of the most famous teams in the sport. The results? They were mixed. In the ARCA race, Cletus was actually really good. He qualified 7th, moved his way up through the field, and finished 4th. That's his best finish ever in any NASCAR race. He said it was the best he's ever felt in a stock car. He was running top 5 lap times, battling with guys who've been doing this for years, and even his crew was shocked at how fast he was. But then came the O'Reilly race, and that's where things got rough. Cletus qualified 35th, dead last basically. He admitted he got scared during his one qualifying lap and lifted off the gas when he shouldn't have. He called it chicken-footing it. He knew the car had the grip, but going that fast toward the wall just got to him. And honestly, after what happened next in the race, you can kind of understand why. On just the 3rd lap, Cletus tried to make a 3-wide pass on the inside going into turn 1. It was way too aggressive, way too early. He lost the back end of the car, slid sideways, and barely saved it. But that one move cooked his tires. In NASCAR, when you slide the car like that, your tires get super hot and lose grip. He spent the rest of that run just trying to baby those tires back to life. Then things kept going wrong. He got a penalty on pit road for pulling into his box too early. He spun out on his own after overdriving into a corner. He flat-spotted his tires on that spin, which meant he had to go back to an old set that already had 60 laps on them. And near the end, Austin Hill bumped him into the apron. His last few laps were pure survival. The tires were completely done, and every time he touched the gas, the car was sliding. His spotter, Ty, came on the radio and told him they'd used up all 9 lives and to just chill. He finished 32nd, 6 laps down. Not great on paper, but he finished. And that's where the debate gets really interesting, because 2 very different camps came out swinging after this race. On one side, you've got Freddie, Kraft, and Tommy Baldwin from the Door Bumper Clear podcast. These guys have been critical of Cletus being in NASCAR all year, and after Rockingham, they didn't hold back. Kraft said Cletus met his expectations, but that's not really a compliment. He said, "If you were expecting him to do much more than that, you were kind of foolish." Kraft did give him some credit for laying low after the early mistake and staying out of people's way. But his big problem was the car. He called it a waste of a very good race car. He said you could put Cletus in almost any car and he'd finish in the same spot. The RCR equipment didn't matter because Cletus just isn't at that level yet. Tommy Baldwin was even harsher. He said, with a lot of sarcasm, he took a top 5 team, would have went home, 6 laps down, finished 32nd, spun out 4 times. He did good. Yeah, he did good. So that's the critics. And to be fair, they make some points. Finishing 32nd in one of the best cars in the field is not ideal. 4 incidents in one race is a lot. And that 3-wide move on lap 3 was, by Cletus's own words, a terrible idea. But then Mark Martin spoke up. On the same Door Bumper Clear podcast, Martin said something that really changes the conversation. He said Cletus ran about how he expected him to run. But then he said this: "It was a tremendous challenge. He still got over his skis multiple times, but his driving talent saved it. Many other drivers would have wiped that car out in some of those slides and events that he had. I give him credit for that. I think he can drive. He's just got to learn to drive these cars on these tracks." That's a Hall of Famer saying Cletus McFarland has real driving talent, not just YouTube fame, not just a big audience, actual talent behind the wheel. Martin also pointed out something people forget. Rockingham is brutal. It's not some easy track where you can just ride around. Martin said, "Dude, you don't have any idea what it takes in the middle or the latter part of the pack at Rockingham." He basically said that people sitting at home have no clue how hard this place is, especially for someone with limited experience. And Martin wasn't done. He also praised Cletus for how he handles himself outside the car. He said, "The best thing about Cletus is his interviews. He's coming out and saying, 'Oh, this is way harder than I thought.' He's fantastic." Now here's what makes Martin's support even more meaningful. Before the race, Martin had already gone on record saying Cletus is bigger for NASCAR than people realize. He said on the Dirty Mo Media YouTube channel that Cletus McFarland has a stronger following than any Cup driver in NASCAR. And that getting him involved in the sport is a win for everyone because it brings more fans, more eyes, and hopefully more ticket sales. Cletus himself talked about Martin's support before the race. On the Gluckcast, he said, "I love Mark Martin. That guy has been so gracious to me. Him and Kenny Wallace have kind of been some of the few guys who have had my back." And here's the thing the critics don't talk about much. That ARCA race, finishing 4th in a field of solid drivers, is legit. The broadcast commentators were saying you could literally see him getting better every single lap. He was racing on pace with the leaders. His friend Squirrel McNutt, George Siciliano, also had a great day, qualifying 11th and finishing 9th for his first career top 10. Both their cars came home in one piece with almost identical little scratches on them. That's actually a huge win. On his podcast, Cletus broke down what he learned the hard way. The biggest thing? Side force. When a car is next to you on the outside, your grip just disappears. He said it's like having completely different tire pressure all of a sudden. Jesse Love, the former ARCA champion, had tried to warn him about this before the race. Cletus also learned that one slide can ruin your tires for the rest of a run, something that matters way more in NASCAR than in anything else he's done. He also called himself out. He watched the 3-wide move back on video and said, "What the hell was I thinking?" He admitted he got too fired up and tried to pass the whole field on lap 3 like he was at the Freedom Factory. His crew told him they don't need to push him to go faster. They just need to pull the reins back and point him in the right direction. Now, the biggest question hanging over all of this is Talladega. Cletus has a 3-race deal with RCR, and the next stop is Talladega Superspeedway on April 25th. But NASCAR didn't automatically approve him for every track. They told him it depends on how he did at Rockingham. On his podcast, Cletus said he's waiting for the decision and expects to hear by Tuesday. But he also made something really clear. He said, "I don't care whether I'm approved or not. I did not come into this opportunity saying NASCAR needs to approve me. I never in any instance thought they should approve me. I just got this opportunity and said, great, what can we do? And if they approve me to run Dega, I'm running."